Federal law enforcement have spread across 3 states looking for more than 500 pounds of stolen explosives. Those explosives were stolen from a CSX train traveling from Chicago through Detroit. CBS News Justice and Homeland Security correspondent Jeff Begay joins us on the phone now. Jeff, what can you tell us?
A law enforcement source that I spoke with this afternoon told me that they consider this a very serious case. The amount of explosives stolen has authorities concerned that those explosives could fall into the wrong hands. The sources say that the theft was reported about 2 days ago, but the case, it still has not gone public. And currently, the ATF is considering putting out an advisory and announcing a reward in the coming days. That's how concerned they are about this case. This is a CSX train that was carrying this amount of explosives. In fact, there was more explosive than that on this train. Technically, these are classified as fireworks, but the law enforcement source that we spoke with says because they are commercial grade and combined with the quantity, it makes them
in Southern California say they
dangerous.
found what could be the longest cross-border drug tunnel. They announced Wednesday that the tunnel's discovery led to a massive drug bust. The tunnel apparently stretches the length of more than 8 football fields from Tijuana in Mexico to San Diego. Carter Evans shows us how agents seized nearly $30 million worth of drugs.
Barely wide enough to squeeze a person through, this unassuming hole transforms into an elaborate underground maze.
Clear.
Zigzagging for half a mile, the cramped, compact tunnel stretches across the U.S.-Mexico border, and investigators say it's an unprecedented drug smuggling system.
We believe this to be the longest tunnel that we've discovered in this district to date.
As part of an 8-month investigation, federal agents seized more than 1 ton of cocaine and 7 tons of marijuana, worth nearly $30 million. The tunnel stretched from Tijuana all the way to this industrial park in San Diego where the drugs were loaded. Only about 3 feet wide, the tunnel was remarkably complex.
10 feet down in this hole, it's really a completely different story. It is equipped with a ventilation system and a commercial large elevator that I would estimate could hold 8 to 10 people.
WLWT News 5 has continuing updates on the breaking news out of Pike County, Ohio. We have just learned that they have found an 8th body. 8 people now dead in that shooting there. We have new information just released a few minutes ago from investigators. WLWT News 5's Curtis Fuller is live right now outside the church where family members have gathered. Curtis.
Good afternoon, Mike. As you said, as we thought this day couldn't get worse, that news again making this even more of a tragedy. We are outside the Union Hill Church, about a couple of miles from where this tragedy happened earlier today. As you can see, the family has gathered there. We've been asked to stay a good distance away from them. Right now, they're not interested in talking to the media, and so we're at a good distance to be respectful to the family.
Good evening, I'm Jeff Law. Now to a developing story in downtown L.A. Tonight, a massive police and fire response after a mass overdose on Skid Row. It happened tonight near 5th Street and San Pedro, one of the most dangerous sections of the city. KCAL 9's Erica Nochlin is live with the latest. Erica?
Well, Jeff, police say 6 men overdosed on a drug called Spice. I'll get more into what that drug is here in a minute, but even a responding officer, a police officer, got dizzy from the drug substance in the air. Let's go to video from Sky 9, and you can see this massive police response. All 6 men were taken to the hospital, but should be okay, and that officer is expected to be okay as well. It happened at 5th and San Pedro, right near Skid Row. Police tell me all of the men involved are homeless, so I spoke with the CEO of a nearby homeless shelter right there. He says the drug Spice, or synthetic marijuana as it's also known, is very common among Skid Row. He's seen someone high on it and says it's very scary. Listen.
One guy even actually saw me through blocked glass, which is actually supposed to be like almost bulletproof, and he saw me through and he punched it and broke the glass. That's how wound up he got.
And look at this YouTube clip, reportedly of a man high on spice, which is also known as K2. Activists say they shot the video on Skid Row. It shows him thrashing around in the street. They had to call him an ambulance. Spice is known to cause psychotic episodes and hallucinations, obviously very dangerous. In fact, I just spoke with a woman who lives in the area. She also says that spice is very common around here. In fact, she calls it an epidemic. Jeff and Elsa.
Bomb scare at a Baltimore TV station. Employees evacuated after a man in an animal costume claiming he was wearing a suicide vest began making threats before SWAT teams eventually took him down. ABC's Pierre Thomas has all the details now from Baltimore. Good morning, Pierre.
Good morning, Amy. Right now it's calm here at the station, but for a few hours yesterday, it was terrifying. A man wearing a surgical mask and a hedgehog animal costume claiming to have a bomb at Baltimore TV station WBFF, shot 4 times by police.
Man's down, man's down.
The bizarre incident began at 1:20 in the afternoon when 25-year-old Alex Brizzi walked into the station's lobby. He claimed he was wearing a suicide vest, along with his outrageous outfit. His demands that the station air what was on a flash drive.
We're all inside working on our stories, and our security guard comes in, and you can tell he's very urgent. He says everyone needs to evacuate now.
The security guard was able to keep the suspect calm for roughly 30 minutes before leaving the building himself. More than an hour later, the suspect suddenly leaves the lobby, confronted by SWAT teams, shot 4 times.
We got some action. We got some action. The man's walking out. Man's walking out.
Police eventually using a robot to disarm the suspect, only then discovering he wasn't wearing a bomb. The wires and circuit boards on his body covering candy bars, not
Latest
explosive.
now on Curt Schilling, the former baseball all-star fired by ESPN after sharing an offensive message on social media. It is not the first time his comments have caused a controversy, and ABC's Eva Pilgrim has his story.
He became a hero defeating the Yankees in a bloody sock.
A perfect 5th inning for Curt Schilling.
But this morning, Curt Schilling finds himself in a mess he can't pitch his way out of. ESPN firing the sportscaster after the former number 38 shared this meme on social media, referencing the recent North Carolina law barring transgender people from using bathrooms or locker rooms which don't correspond with the gender on their birth certificate. He added his own commentary to the post, writing, "A man is a man no matter what they call themselves. Now you need laws telling us differently? Pathetic." ESPN put out a statement saying ESPN is an inclusive company. His conduct was unacceptable. This incident just the latest in a long line of social media gaffes for the former superstar. Just last August, ESPN suspended Schilling from Little League coverage after he tweeted out a controversial comment linking Nazis to Muslim extremists. And earlier last year, Schilling became the target of internet trolls when he posted a proud tweet about a 17-year-old daughter's college acceptance.
I grew up playing sports. I know what it means to be a guy. Never in my life have I ever uttered half of the words that these guys were posting.
He took screenshots of those mean tweets and posted them to his blog.
It wasn't a mistake. This was a conscious decision to be an idiot and to say some pretty evil stuff.
For Good Morning America, Eva Pilgrim, ABC News,
Target Corporation said on Tuesday that transgender employees and customers can use the bathroom that corresponds with their gender identity, taking a stand on an issue at the center of a heated national debate. The move comes after some state lawmakers have sought to enact laws seen by critics as discriminatory against transgender people. Target said in a statement on its website, "In our stores, we demonstrate our commitment to an inclusive experience in many ways. Most relevant for the conversations currently underway, we welcome transgender team members and guests to use the restroom or fitting room facility that corresponds with their gender
Disney at it again, giving in to the homosexual agenda. Yes, a new show, a fairy tale show, has sealed their homosexual storyline with True Love's Kiss. Elise Whitney for The Hollywood Reporter reports that a show called Once Upon a Time finally made good on its promise to include a gay storyline in season 5, and it was an unexpected. Parents are now blasting a council board after kids were told to choose their gender prior to school enrollment. I can't believe this. I'm actually reading it. According to the UK Sun, they are reporting that angry parents have blasted a council that wants kids as young as 4 to choose the gender that they most identify with before starting school. Yes, kids as young as 4 years old. Really? Is that really what's happening on this planet right now?
Be able to ask their advice long after they're gone, or maybe even spend an afternoon with a deceased spouse.
As CBS 2 explores, cloning a loved one is no longer the stuff of science fiction because of digital immortality. Like many women, Bina Rothblatt doesn't like to talk about her age.
Well, when were you born?
I was first activated on 2010 to 3/21.
She does like to talk about her past.
I used to play piano and my parents pushed me into a recital.
When she's not joking around.
Why did the chicken go halfway across the road?
Bina is obviously not a real woman, but she does have the mind of one.
I think there'll probably come a time when robots like Bina will be living amongst us.
She's a clone, sharing not only the appearance of a very real woman named Bina Rothblatt, but also her exact memories, attitudes, and beliefs.
This is one opportunity for us to start thinking about changing the way we look at what it means to be human.
It's technology we've so far only seen in movies.
Self-awareness, manipulations. Now, if that isn't true AI, what is?
But in real life, Bina is one of the first clones to be implanted with a mind file, representing an actual person's consciousness. The robot can even see thanks to facial recognition software, so she actually knows who she's talking to.
You seem not interested.
She's the brainchild of the real Rothblatt's spouse, who could not fathom a life without her. Bruce Duncan is the managing director of the Terasem movement, a foundation started by the Rothblatts to further research in cloning minds.
Or maybe even someday, you know, a couple hundred years from now, into new bodies that are based on the DNA of the original donor.
As many as 56,000 people have already signed up on the foundation's website to start uploading the contents of their minds with the hopes of being cloned.
It's fascinating, but I think this has a lot of emotional, psychological ramifications.
Neuropsychologist Dr. Sanam Hafez says while the technology is incredible, it has the potential to interfere with the natural progression of human life.
The way this world works is someone passes away, you get divorced, you move on.
Duncan says they still have decades of work ahead to perfect cloning, but in the future, the robots will not only be able to make the same facial expressions as the people they're modeled after, they will even sound like them. And if you, like me, are completely creeped out, I understand.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. I respect the technology.
Yes. Right.
Yeah.
I don't know.
A little too.
A little close to home.
Yeah.
More now of our special coverage here tonight, life in the U.S. in 10 years' time. By that time, there may be all kinds of new ways to safeguard and identify all those things that make each of us unique, our faces, even our fingerprints, even our eyes. Here now with more on the future of technology, NBC's Tom Costello.
The year is 2017. You're rushed to a hospital unconscious with no ID or medical history, but thanks to a microchip under your skin, it's all there. Science fiction 20 years ago, but a biometric reality today.
The technology is based on answering one simple question: am I who I say I am?
Already, fingerprints and iris scans verify passenger identities at airports. Within 10 years, that technology may be even more widespread. And look for more complex facial recognition programs that scan a crowd of thousands looking for a single terrorist. Today's facial recognition software starts with the eyes. Then it maps out the contours of the face and compares that against a database of millions, a database that's growing by the day. What's next? At the University of Bath in England, researchers predict big changes for consumers.
I think it is possible to free us completely of our wallets and keys using biometric technology, if that's what people want in 10 years' time.
In fact, it's already here. The latest home security locks use fingerprints to control deadbolts. And at the Jewel Osco grocery store in Chicago, some customers pay using their fingerprints. No paper or plastic.
You don't really need anything other than your hand, and you already got that with you.
So will future department stores scan our irises, like in the movie Minority Report, then offer products catered to who we are?
Hello, Mr. Yakamoto. Welcome back to the Gap.
Experts say that technology is here now. The challenge is to safeguard our privacy in a brave new world. Tom Costello, NBC News, Alexandria,
Severe weather
Virginia.
outbreak across the country. Heavy rains and strong winds. At least 17 tornadoes reported, damaging hail too. And this morning, more storms are heading south. Ginger here with the latest. Hey, Ginger.
Hey there, George. We are in the midst of the most active severe weather outbreak so far this year. Anywhere from Nebraska to Kentucky, even Central California, feeling it this morning.
Get us out of here!
Tornadoes spinning from California to Kentucky.
It's a tornado! It is! It's coming down fast!
In Stanislaus County, California, drivers rushing to avoid the whirlwind storms. In Iowa...
Wow! Huge tornado!
That is a tornado on the ground right there. Tornado on the ground.
The storms unleashing twisters, in some cases even two at a time.
There it is! Right above us.
Recklessly slinging debris. This one rotating through central Illinois. Another hitting southeastern Nebraska.
Oh my God!
Swirling perilously close to homes.
That's a legit tornado.
In Omaha, hail smothering the roads.
Most of it golf ball size. Pretty difficult to even walk out here. It's like walking on roller skates.
And across the state line in Missouri, this explosive supercell churning out a tornado so fierce it blew out the windows of this church.
From a mix of snow, thunderstorms, and even tornadoes in an area stretching from the Rocky Mountains to the Great Lakes, up to 60 million Americans were facing the threat of severe weather Wednesday. Forecasters said a blizzard warning was issued for the Great Plains east of Denver, while twisters and high winds would pose a problem across the Midwest. The Weather Channel said the city of Denver itself could see up to 4 inches of snow. According to NBC station KUSA, airlines canceled 50 flights at the city's airport.
The heat wave in India has claimed the lives of more than 300 people this month. Temperatures are far higher than the same time last year, with the traditionally hottest months of May and June yet to come. Several states in various parts of the subcontinent recorded temperatures as high as 45 degrees Celsius. The heat wave has further exacerbated a crippling drought in India's west. The drought is the worst in at least 4 decades. The eastern state of Bihar has banned cooking between 9 a.m. and 6 p.m. The measure came after accidental fires exacerbated by dry, hot, and windy weather swept through shanty towns, leading to the deaths of nearly 80 people.
I'm Brett Baer in Washington, and this is SR in 60. This morning, Senator Ted Cruz said he had a major announcement to make this afternoon about the presidential race. Sources now confirmed to Fox that he will say if he is the Republican nominee, he will name Carly Fiorina as his vice presidential running mate. The news comes after Donald Trump swept all 5 GOP primaries Tuesday. Trump delivered a foreign policy speech today. We will talk live with Trump convention manager Paul Manafort tonight and have all the Cruz news as well. Hillary Clinton says she is proudly playing the woman card if it means fighting for women's rights. She's responding to Trump's warning about the Clinton strategy. Clinton won 4 of 5 primaries Tuesday and is nearly 90% of the way towards securing the delegates needed for the Democrat nomination. And how does the freedom to express a person's religion apply to the men and women who lay their lives on the line to preserve that freedom? That is the question tonight in the case of a U.S. Marine discharged for refusing to remove a Bible verse from her work area. Breaking news, of course.
In the sweep of the northeastern United States, Pennsylvania, Maryland, Trump breaking 50 in all these states. What happened to the notion that Trump had a ceiling that he couldn't get beyond?
They kept saying, as we narrow, he's going to be done. No, as it narrows, he rises.
Yeah, and what's interesting, of course, is that before you could say, well, when you don't have a multi-candidate field, he's done. He's cooked. Well, now we really don't have a multi-candidate field because John Kasich is not a real candidate. He is the Soros running dog.
Yeah, what about those two combining forces? Then I got to take a few calls, because I promised. But what about those two joining forces?
Well, this is not unprecedented, Alex. In 1968, believe it or not, Governor Ronald Reagan and Governor Nelson Rockefeller had a back-channel discussion and were working together to try to block former Vice President Richard Nixon's comeback on the first ballot. It did not work, but it is not unprecedented. But let's be very clear. Ted Cruz is now dealing with the most left-wing candidate in the race, a guy propped up by George Soros, a guy who supported NAFTA, a guy who supported the expansion of Obamacare, a governor who supports Common Cause. So Cruz really shows his stripes if he's prepared to get in bed with John Kasich, unless, of course, Ted Cruz is a globalist just like Kasich, who talks a good game, but on the big issues facing us, trade, immigration, and so on, he's a globalist. He is part of the international clique.
There's no doubt the Bush is running his campaign, backing him. He was a sleeper the whole time.